What's up, y'all? It's Candace from Seoul Talk. So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a little trip to the grocery store because our favorite chef, Xavier, is going to be making kimchi jjigae today. And of course, I will be his sous chef. So we're gonna take you through the process of buying all of the ingredients and then doing all the prep work.
So this is like a vlog. What's happening?
So
someone didn't get briefed, it was me.
I know. Right. Alright, so basically Xavier just got off of work, and because he's an actual adult, he is going to be cooking himself dinner. So I met him in his neighborhood, close to his neighborhood, and we're gonna go grocery shopping at one of the local marts. And it's
Yes.
things that we need basically. We don't even have a recipe. I think he knows what he's doing. I don't know what I'm doing.
Honestly, I don't, so whatever.
We're just gonna make some jjigae.
두부 5살이 하시는 분들은 자 10,000원에 자 오늘
Bingo.
양상추 1,000원씩 자 지금 드리고요.
There's lovely bird sounds too. Hey guys, it's Xavier.
And Candace.
And we are Seoul Talk, and we're going to be cooking today. So we just went to the grocery store and I had most of the ingredients. Today we're going to be making kimchi jjigae, which is kimchi stew, which is very delicious and it's very salty, and I kind of on a lifetime diet. So I probably shouldn't be cooking this, but I'm trying to do make ahead meals so I can freeze them, and you can freeze kimchi jjigae. So I wanted to make it, and Candace is over and she's gonna be staying with me for a little bit, so it's nice to have food around.
Yes.
Just in case we don't want to go out or whatever. So let's go through the ingredient list.
Yes. Okay.
Yay. Okay. So I actually have a recipe from Bon Appetit because I'm obsessed with them. Forever, also right now specifically. We're gonna start out with pork belly, which is over here. I have to cut it up, so just a bunch of pork. I got this from the grocery store. It was actually on sale, so I'm super excited, yay! We're gonna start with the meat, and then we're gonna go into the onion. And Candace and I actually just cut this all up last night, which is really great because we don't have to do any, we did all of the prep also, by the way. Genius. She was like, why are we doing all this cutting? And this is why, because we don't have to do anything. So this recipe doesn't call for garlic, but I want it to have a little bit of a bite. So we're gonna put a little bit of garlic in there. We're gonna put white onion as well as spring onion at the very end. We're also gonna put some tofu in there as well. Some dubu, and I got the huge ones because I'm going to be doubling this recipe. I'll link the recipe in the below section, whatever that's called, above the comments. Of course, we're going to need kimchi, and they recommend that you use more sour kimchi. This has been fermenting in my refrigerator for months. I really like kimchi, and I like it when it's really sour, but this has gotten to the point where it's way too sour. We're going to be using most of this. We also have gochugaru, which is roasted red pepper, but ground up. And my boyfriend keeps this in the freezer, and I don't know why, but I guess that's what Korean people do. So this is gochujang, which is also red pepper. They dry it and then make it into a paste, and also add fish? Question mark? I don't know what's in this, but it's really spicy and it's really delicious. And it's the base of every Korean food. like everything, it has this ingredient in it. Finally, you don't like this, maybe we won't put it in. I like to have tuna in it, and you've probably eaten it a million times and just have not known that the tuna's in there. It adds so much flavor.
Maybe.
So this is just like a can of tuna. This is like completely optional. I like, cause it's like, you know, the salt, the sea saltiness, and like you get like all of those like developed flavors, whatever. And finally, some water just to loosen everything up. And also some beer because here we're not sponsored, so I'm gonna cover it up. So let's go. Our first step is we're gonna start cooking, we're gonna start with the meat. And I haven't cut it up yet. I actually got this on sale. Candace and I were talking about, we wanted to discuss just generally like the different ways that you can find groceries in Seoul. So as I cut this meat up, we're gonna talk about that. And the recipe calls for 6 ounces, but I'm gonna use like a little bit more. I kind of just eyeballed it. But usually when you find it in like stews in like a restaurant that you go to, it's kind of in little pieces, but I kind of like big pieces, so we're gonna just like kind of like eyeball it and just see how it goes. So anyway, yeah, as I was saying, it's like there's like a bunch of different places that you can go to get groceries. You can go to where? You can go to the regular grocery store. You can go to like an E-Mart, which is just like Walmart or a Target. You can go to also Home Plus. And I think those are expensive. I find them extremely expensive. It was easier to go when I first moved to Korea because I just didn't know any better. And I lived in kind of like a very big area. So I would always just go to like my local E-Mart because it was like comfortable. They have everything and it's like you can see everything and it's not as intimidating as like the small mom and pop shops like in your neighborhood. But now that like I'm like more accustomed to Korean people and just like what everything looks like and like what everything is called, I can just, you know, like I feel more comfortable going to the regular stores. And also there is Costco in Korea, but it's far away. I don't want to go there. Come in here and talk. Oh my god.
Okay.
I feel so weird.
Well, it's weird too because I'm not like
doing anything.
Excuse you. I'm about to get my hands like in the mix when you got it, clearly. But like Xavier said, I feel like...
Well, when you lived here, how did you grocery shop?
So my grocery shopping depended on like my Korean level. I kind of feel like for me, it went hand in hand. So as he said, like when I first came and I was not comfortable speaking at all, I would go to E-Mart and Home Plus, which he meant because it mimics our grocery stores that we're accustomed to going to. But as I became a little bit more comfortable, I was starting to go more to like the market. So there are the big ones like, what's it called? Gwangjang.
Oh yeah, I don't know where that one is. I used to live in Shindong, so I used to go there.
Oh, that's
it was so good and cheap. Nice. Oh, it was so
you
good.
could go there. They're a bit larger, so it's a little bit intimidating.
And it's just like old people.
Yeah.
It's old Koreans, so it's there. It is intimidating.
It is.
Even sometimes now I'm like, oh my god. Because it's also, you're kind of an anomaly, so you're walking around and you're like, trying not to draw attention to yourself.
Right.
And then when you try to order something, like Korean people just like listen. Because they're like, you know what I mean? Like the other customers will just be like, what are they gonna, first of all, what are they gonna order? Second of all, what are they gonna sound like? Okay. So we're gonna start cooking, you guys. I'm super excited. So I'm gonna put my apron on. It's actually from Daiso, it's very cheap. But it has a cute little bear on it. Cute, right? So, here we go. Oh my god. So, the first thing we're gonna do is brown the meat. We have to cook it through. And then we're going to add the kimchi and cook that through. And I think I'm just gonna use all of this kimchi right here because it's like, I just wanna use it all. I'm done with it, I'm over it. So, if I can ever get this tied, maybe I'll just tie it this way. Because I'm not a child, we can get started. So I'm just putting a little bit of, so am I turning this camera? Now? Forever? Yes. So I just put a little bit of EVOO. Any Rachel Ray fans? Oh my god, honey. If you don't have homemade kimchi, store-bought is fine. Also, I was carrying around a spoon that I wanted to use. I don't know what that is. Oh, it's in here. Okay. So, first we're going to add the meat. Yeah, so we were talking about going to the grocery store. And it is very intimidating to go to like a real grocery store. Like just a Korean like mom and pop shop in the beginning. But I think like it's not that bad. Eventually, you get used to it. So we're just gonna let that stew for a couple of minutes, around 3 minutes, just to get it all cooked through. Because it's pork, so we need it to be completely cooked. So this is cooking off pretty well. Oh, look at my hand tattoo. Oh, it looks great.
Oh my god.
This isn't very fatty, so I'm not going to drain any of the fat off. I'm just going to throw this kimchi in. So we're gonna get this shot. I think all this kimchi, I don't know. So like, I don't make this very often. Actually, spoiler alert, this is the first time I've ever made this. So I've watched my boyfriend do it. This is like a lot, right?
Yeah.
It looks like a lot, America.
It is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So let's just, I mean, but you gotta, I don't know. Let's just like see what happens. Ugh. Ugh. I mean, it's gonna be really like you get those like pieces. That's fine. Screw it. Also, maybe you should have used the bigger stock pots, man. They use those tiny ones. Korean people use those tiny stock pots.
The little stones.
Yeah. So we just have to let this cabbage, so when the cabbage gets more and more fermented, it gets more and more sour and more soft. So when you can tell when you go to a restaurant when the kimchi is fresh because it's really crisp and it's not sour. So I'm really nervous about this part. Let me go get the other ingredients and we can get this show on the road. So according to this, I should do 2 tablespoons of gochugaru, 1 tablespoon of gochujang. So I'm gonna double that because we're making twice as much. Good.
Yeah.
Get all that good. So I'm also gonna add a little bit of water so that this can cook down a little bit. And we can like really develop those flavors and it won't get too dry. So I will be looking out for this as this cooks down a little bit more. And if it gets too dry, we'll just add a little bit more water. So we're gonna let this simmer. Okay, so now before I cover this and let it sit a little bit, we're gonna throw some of this onion in. I froze it before and I like the onion to have like a little bit more of a crunch, so I didn't put it in the beginning with the meat. So it's gonna be a little bit more flavorful and I like that, that oniony taste. So we're just gonna throw a couple handfuls in there. I think the recipe calls for a cup. So we're just gonna, you know, kind of eyeball it. It's not a science, we're not baking, we're just cooking. So we'll just throw all of that in there and then it can all think about its life. Get it. Get its life. Get it. So this has been simmering for about 30 minutes. I put a little bit more water in here so because I like it a little bit soupy. It's extremely soupy right now. So our last 2 steps are adding some green onion because I like that freshness because it gets really heavy. Obviously you can see there's a lot of flavor going on in here. And we are going to be adding a huge block of tofu. So while this heats up a little bit more, we're gonna open this tofu up and we are going to just slice it up. So this is giant. It was actually really cheap. It was only like, I think $2. It's so much.
So is this the firm kind or the soft kind? Like, can you explain what kind I should look for?
So this is firm. I like to get a little bit firmer, but if you can't find firm, I mean, don't get the loose stuff because that's just like not an option. But if you like it a little bit soft, go for the soft. I mean, it'll break up in the soup, but it's, you know, it's like up to everyone's preference. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut this. How big do I want the pieces to be? So we're gonna cut this in half, and then we're gonna cut it crosswise and then lengthwise. So we get nice, I like big pieces. And you don't need to cook this through, it's not like meat. You just have to warm it before you serve it. And as you can see, I made little squares. I like these like big bites, so I think that's a good size. So we're just gonna throw these in here. See, and as you can see, like as I like poke it, it does get a little bit, it will break apart, which is fine. Which is why I made the pieces a little bit bigger, because as you stir it around, they'll kind of break up a little bit and you'll get those littler pieces in there. And then the last thing I want to do, right before we finish up, is get our green onions. So we're just gonna throw that in. Crush it up a little bit. I'm gonna say it's probably better to do fresh, but I mean, I'm a working young individual. I don't have time for that. So, and that's it. So we're just gonna let this warm through and then we'll be right back and we'll have a taste. We'll be finished. Yay! All right, guys, moment of truth. Yay, we did it. So, after I added the tofu and the green onion, we just let it simmer a little bit more to heat through, and that took about like less than 3 minutes.
Yeah, not that long at all.
And then we set up our little table. We're going to have a little snack. We're just gonna try our food. I know. Okay, ready? I'm gonna have a little bit of meat and a little bit of tofu.
Okay. Wait.
Oh my god, I'm so nervous.
I know.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Very good. Meat is very tender.
Mm-hmm.
Needs a little bit of salt, in my opinion.
Oh, really? You think so? A little bit of salt. Also, it's very spicy.
It is very spicy.
I'm gonna say that recipe really overshot the amount of gochujang. And the amount of, it's the gochugaru for sure, because the gochujang isn't as spicy as, the sauce one isn't as spicy as the powdered one.
Right.
But I will say, so a little bit of salt.
But that's also me just coming from America where everything's salty, so.
See, and for me, it doesn't need salt.
Right?
Because the kimchi's salty.
It is, but I taste more of the spice from it. But then, did you put more soup in yours?
Yeah.
More liquid? Like more, because I have, more water in mine, so that might.
Less liquid in this one, yeah. Maybe.
That might be it. Because I'm a baby, I don't do spice very much.
Which, like, how did you live here? Everything in Korea is spicy.
I don't even know.
Well, thank you for cooking with us.
Yes!
I had a lot of fun actually. This was really nice. Yeah, I've only made kimchi jjigae a couple times and I'm starting to get better at it. So it was nice to just like do this with you guys and Candace. So, like, subscribe.
Comment.
Yes, comment. We'll see you guys soon. We have a lot of fun things in store we've been talking about. We're gonna start doing a soju series where we just drink and talk about stuff that's going on in Korea or in our lives. We're also going to do some fun challenges and see you can shop better, which is obviously going to be me.
Right, we'll see. We'll see.
Anyway, so see you guys next time. This has been Candace
and Xavier
with Seoul Talk.
Bye.
Bye.